The era of unending conflicts and wars is to come to an abrupt end. June 16, 2013. Here in the spiritual realms we are all most enthusiastically cheering you on as you continue to release all that is unloving and which prevents you from seeing each other as you truly are, beloved children of your infinitely loving Father, God, the source of all that exists. As you collectively strengthen and intensify your intention to embrace the field of divine love and release all that is not in harmony with it, the essential changes to ensure your well-being and bring you home to reality continue to occur with increasing rapidity. Humanity is, on a massive scale, turning towards love and away from fear, and this is very easily seen when you observe the release of so many supposedly secret intelligence agency files into the public domain. Transparency and openness, essential aspects of the honesty and integrity necessary for a truly free society to flourish, are escalating and being encouraged and demonstrated across the world, as courageous individuals decide to honor their consciences by disclosing that which they had been forbidden to disclose. It has become utterly inconceivable for them to continue to allow such monstrous secrets to remain hidden any longer as they realize the extent to which the enormous and endemic corruption in governments, corporations, and even religious organizations, which were originally set up to operate with unimpeachable honesty on behalf of the societies in which they became established, has completely undermined their ability to operate in the manner that society has a right to expect and rely on. With well-known public figures making statements to stimulate an ongoing expansion of this most meritorious trend, it has now become unstoppable. The scale of corruption that is soon to be fully revealed will, for most of you, be extremely shocking. Society can only be successful and serve its members properly if all its plans, intentions, and activities are utterly transparent and formulated lovingly for the benefit of everyone. Humanity has now collectively chosen to follow that path. All across the world signs of this immense and most welcome change in attitude are appearing as new, vibrant, and honest groups of individuals from many fields of endeavor come together to bring into being the required and benevolent organizations that will honor and respect every individual on the planet, without exception. You are succeeding in changing your attitudes so that they move into alignment with the divine field of love which surrounds and envelops you, and by doing so you are changing the world. This worldwide move towards openness and transparency throughout all nations and all cultures is of major importance. It is in itself a very positive indication of humanity's collective intent to awaken, because it demonstrates an awareness that without such transparency and honesty, a loving and compassionate society honoring all life is impossible. And humanity does want that kind of society. Wherever secrecy and corruption, which are always constant companions, are allowed to flourish, society ends up at war with itself. People, seemingly of necessity, take sides and support one group against another which they judge as the enemy, and when the emotional charge intensifies sufficiently they go further and take up arms in an attempt to destroy that enemy. It is a total negation, an incredible unawareness of the inescapable fact that all are one, and that to harm another harms yourself. When military engagements occur, as your history clearly shows, anger and bitterness grow, and eventually it becomes widely acceptable, in fact, a military necessity, to torture and slay the unarmed civilians, the women and children of the opposing side. Insanity breeds insanity, and the insanity of going to war is defended as a right and reasonable response, the only sensible response to the provocations of your enemies. Peace cannot be achieved by going to war. Yet even today on your planet there are those who claim that wars to achieve and maintain peace are essential, and they are regularly engaged in imagining scenarios in which the enemy takes an unacceptable action that must be retaliated against with maximum force to demonstrate that the power of might, when used by those with intelligence and wisdom, can effectively maintain peace. The good news is that this insanity is being recognized and people will not for much longer allow those who have assumed the mantle of power and authority to take warlike action on their behalf, action that is in complete violation of basic human rights. The realization that those who would govern have in fact placed a monetary value on a human life, making it happily expendable, has dawned. The era of unending conflicts and wars is to come to an abrupt end. People, billions of people, have realized that the industrial military machine cannot be operated without their willing and enthusiastic assistance, and that willingness is being withdrawn all over the world. Yes, there are still areas in which conflict continues, but even there the fact that small numbers of misguided individuals are directing these activities for their own ends can no longer be ignored. People no longer want war and conflict, and so they are ceasing to allow themselves to be coerced into military service by those who would lay a guilt trip on them by calling them naive, unpatriotic, or cowardly. The time for war is past. It has never served you. It has only caused you grief and suffering, despite the high and mighty aims it was always supposed to protect and preserve, and finally enough of you have made the decision, the collective decision, to cease engaging in it. That decision is powerful and irrevocable, as it has the will of God to support it. Humanity has chosen a new direction, a direction based on loving kindness, which is but a reflection of your true and divine nature. All in the spiritual realm support this change of direction with joyful enthusiasm, and rejoice that it has been made. During your daily quiet times, reflect on the change that has occurred in humanity's collective intent, which is bringing it into alignment with God's, and add to it your own intent to send love to all without exception, and especially to those whom you believe have offended or hurt you in any way. To love others unconditionally is to love yourselves, because those two states are inseparable, they are one. As you do so, you will experience stress falling away to be replaced by peace, and your inner knowing that all is divinely taken care of will intensify. Your loving brother, Jesus. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman2.wordpress.com